Hello everyone. This video I'm joined by Kogane. Why don't you introduce
Hello,
yourself?
I'm Kogane. I've had various experience with card games. I played a lot of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! I've played a decent amount of Card Fight Vanguard. There's a lot of card games that I've really been wanting to try, like the Digimon card game, like Vice Shorts, Recross, Grand Archive, etc., etc. So I would say that I'm pretty familiar with card games.
And I'm Algner. Obviously am going to be the person showing Kagane cards from a different homemade TCG called Chaos Galaxy. I also play Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Hearthstone. So yeah, let's just start with... Okay, so how this is going to work is I'll just... Step one, let me explain how Chaos Galaxy works. So basically, um, it's it's a very slow game, and so the main resource is something called stars, which is you get four of them every turn, and you start with four. So in practice, the first turn you start with eight, and then from then on you gain 4 stars every turn, and
So
that's
it's
what you use
more of
to
a
play.
volatile system. It's more of a
It's
volatile system rather than
Yeah, it's less
self-replenishing.
like of a progression of. In fact, it's really weird because in the early game you'll often have access to more stars than in the late game. Because usually the first like two turns are just draw past to get up your stars to have like enough resources to play throughout the game. So usually you'll see in the early game people are just gaining a bunch of stars, then they like slowly deplete them as the game goes longer. And
That feels similar to like early game card fight Vanguard. Grade 0 and grade 1, you're not really doing very much. So often what happens is you just ride to grade 1, you attack to get your drive trigger, and like yes, you could try to damage uh, gatekeep damage from them to stop counterblast, but most of the time you're just playing, you're just riding and attacking, just setup, not nothing really much is happening.
yeah. So to actually play cards, you need to buy these things called zones. So zones go up in cost by powers of two. So first one costs two, second one costs four, third one costs eight. Because it goes up exponentially, I don't think like you are rarely getting a third zone, and I've never seen anyone get a fourth zone outside of like using card effects to gain zones. Like no one is and the Okay, let me also mention this. This is pretty irrelevant, but stars max out at 20, so if you gain more than 20, you just gain up to 20. And zone costs also max out at 20, but neither of these really matter too much in practice. I have like leaking stars is like decently common me like one in every 5 games. You'll miss a few stars because you would have gotten over 20, but it is usually you can avoid it.
Would That kind of makes me feel like a flat rate would have been better, just like a somewhat expensive but flat rate.
All right, so there are three types of zones. Um, Resource zone, creature zones, and battle zones. Creature zones are obviously where you play creatures. Resource zones are where you play resource and activators, which we'll get into. And battle zones are where your creatures go to attack. And then remember, each of these
Hmm.
costs two for the first one. You start with none. So again, like even at the start, if you just want to get a basic like, usually the most common zone setup, I'll give this for free, is two creature, two battle, one resource zone. So that like even that's a total of what 14 stars if I'm counting right, just to get like your zone setup. So yeah, it's a very
Yeah,
grindy game.
hypothetically speaking, like uh, if you have alternate ways to try to like kill your opponent, you could just like not put in battle zones, right? And just that would be a little bit more
Yeah,
efficient.
but there is like, I don't believe there is an alt. Like, I don't think there is like one, every single deck I have seen kills through, like most decks kill through combat, like even the burn deck, it has ways to gain points through card effects. I know you know a bit about the combat system since I told you about that already, but there are ways to gain points and win through card effects, but like even those decks run creatures that can like attack directly. So you do functionally every deck is buying battle zones and creature zones and resource zones. Alright, so resource cards are basically spell cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't have a cost, you just play them, they do their effect. They're permanent resources, which are continuous spells. It's
Interesting decision to have them be free.
permanent resources, yeah, it's weird. Some spells actually have like a cost that's specified in the card text. Like here, let me. Do I have this on my list of cards I want to show you? I don't, so I'll just show you this as an example. Like how this card here. Hello?
Is it not posted?
Okay, there it is. Wait, here. This card here. It says pay 3 stars, add 1 Galaxy detachment card to your hand. Galaxy just means from your deck. Deck is called a Galaxy.
Mm.
So it has to specify in the card text. And then usually I'll just give you this. Permanent resources are usually considered bad because they're easy to remove. You have to, like, they waste a zone. And usually, like, they need to be very powerful to see play. But there definitely are some that are good and do see play.
So it's like the same kind of sentiment for equip spells in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. Speaking of equip spells, you might notice on this card that it says attachment. Attachment cards don't require zones. You basically equip them to. They're equip spells.
Mm.
They can go on either player's creature. They have an effect on the attached creature usually, and yeah. So, there is another thing. Oh yeah, combat. Combat is very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! For the actual creature combat, where you compare attack and health. Here, let
Greater
me just
number
show
wins,
you
right?
a vanilla creature card, like this guy here. This is just a creature guy. He's got 190 power, 190 health, so it's similar to Yu-Gi-Oh, but basically your creatures flip between attack and defense position automatically. So health is what matters on the opponent's turn, and power is what matters on your turn, and then other than that, it's just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Bigger number wins, damage doesn't like stay between combats or anything, and you can only attack their planet if all their creatures are gone.
So during creature combat, does the defending creature retaliate, or is it just
It's if they're even, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! If they're even, they both die, and then otherwise whoever's smaller dies.
Okay.
And there's no like trample damage like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Neither player takes. Okay, so then what was I talking about? Right. Creature combat. You know this, but points. So the player wins by being the first to get to 20 points.
Mm. More of a granular system than
Yeah.
than things like Cardfight Vanguard.
Yeah, you get to 20. First player to get to 20 points wins, and you know this. The way you gain points is you basically just round to the nearest 100 and take the first digit. So, like, this Arrow Knight here attacks for 2 points, because it has 190. Something with 10 power would attack for 1 point. Something with 0 power attacks for 0 points. But, yeah.
So is it a ceiling function, because you said
No,
10,
it's a ceiling for anything between 1 to... Anything below 100 except for 0 attacks for 1 point, and then after that it is just rounding. So, for example, a 130 creature would attack for only 1 point. So activators are the last card type, I believe. Oh no, there's one more after it, but we can get into that later since they're less important. Activators are the last card type here. Let me just show you like a random one. I wasn't planning to show. Was I planning to show you this one? I don't think so. Here. this card. So how activators work is you play them into a resource zone, and they have an activation condition. So when that trigger happens, you put this down into a resource zone. They're the only instant speed type of card, and then they have an effect, but they need to meet that trigger that the card says in the top box.
The way that the card template is reminds me of how Rush Duel handles their trap cards.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Rush Duel, but
Basically, like Rush Duel did a like you know how Yuga texts are like extremely long.
yeah.
Rush Duel simplifies it a lot by having bolded separators, but for requirements and effect.
Makes sense. I remember hearing that somewhere now that you mention it. Wish they would bring Rush Tool templating to normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Please, Konami. Alright. And there wasn't wait, I think we have all the basics covered. If you have any questions, just ask me after this. So first card I want to show you is just basic creature. Oh wait, no, I forgot about planet cards. That's pretty important. So, in deck building, it's like Hearthstone basically, where you choose a planet. There is no actual deck building restriction, unlike Hearthstone, but you choose a planet, and that is your planet, and it has an ability, and you just get this ability for the whole game. Some are static abilities. This one here, I'm showing you Barrow, is an activated ability, and some are triggered. So, like for example, Syndian has a static ability. I'm not. And then this one,
When you
Sindel.
say no deck building restrictions, does that mean
You can put
Arrow Knight, the card you posted earlier? I could put that in non-Roka
yes.
decks.
The
Okay.
reason you want to usually have more cards of one planet in your deck is that you notice that each of the planet abilities has an ability that synergizes with a creature of that planet, but there isn't an actual deck building restriction. You just often want to have more of a density of cards of that planet because they synergize with your planet.
Mm.
Yeah. And then whenever I show you a card, if you haven't seen the planet for it already, I'll put it up with it. Actually, do you want to just start by like looking at all the planets?
Yeah, that seems like a decent baseline.
Okay, so I showed you Barrow, Syndian, and Sindel. Here's Gaios.
Uh,
You don't need to rate these if you don't want to. You can if you want.
shall we start from the beginning then?
Sure. I'm just still copy pasting
Uh,
them in, but we can start.
Barrow, once per turn, swap round. I guess that means okay.
Use.
Exchange the power and health of every creature on your planet uh, at, until your opponent's next turn.
Yeah, until the end of the
Now
opponent's next.
the syntax of this is really strange
PG
compared to
has
other card games.
Chaos Galaxy is terrible card templating. It is extremely inconsistent and bad. I'll let you know in advance. I don't know if I have some of the worst cards on here, but there are some like very very badly templated cards and very weird rules interactions. Okay, so yeah, first one here is Barrow.
Yep. So
What's your general impression of it?
uh, I mean, a free twisted image like could be fine. Twisted image, if for those that don't know, is a Magic the Gathering card that reads switch target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Um,
Yeah.
a free twisted image could be fine. Obviously, that it depends on how important one stat is over the other.
I'll
Like,
give you a tip here. In Chaos Galaxy, often it It really depends on the game state, but most of the time power matters more because it's very much a like trading resources back and forth, more tempo based game. So you want to kill your opponent's stuff, even if that means maybe not necessarily being able to keep it for multiple turns. Oftentimes creatures are surviving for just one turn. So
Like I could see this being good if like high health creatures are like cheaper than high power creatures. Like you could maybe go up
here,
in
let me actually
resources that
show
way.
you a barrel creature as an example of a card. Oh, I have the planet filter enabled. Sorry. Oh, why do I do this to my why do I do this? All right, here it is. This is a barrel creature. It is a vanilla, so you don't need to worry about card text. Just look at the stats.
I feel like you said the attacking creature doesn't get retaliated. So if I used Bear on this, it wouldn't die.
Effectively, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! It's an attack position 320, pretty much.
Yeah, that seems really good.
And then also
Granted, I don't
sometimes
know what the average stats of uh
I'll
relative to
give you
cost are.
this. Det is one of the few vanillas that does actually see play in Chaos Galaxy.
That makes sense. I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to Arrow Knight, it is nearly 1.6 times
Yeah,
as effective.
Arrow Knight is a bad card. It's literally just like I was just going through the first page of the card database and I was trying to find a creature.
But yeah, like big stats can and often does matter.
So how would you rate Barrow? Uh
Uh, Barrow feels like a density requirement to me. Like if like on its own, like planets have basically are should be I think planets are balanced around opportunity cost, and I don't really know the opportunity cost of the other planets. But immediately Barrow feels like you go extremely tempo positive with certain
so do
cards.
you want to just do like a ranking? So I'll just put Barrow number 1 for now. By the way, this is not like
I'll
being judged because I don't think there is like any official ranking of the planets in power level order because there are definitely bad planets and there are definitely good planets, but it can get very murky.
I don't really know the opportunity cost of the other planets, but immediately Barrow feels above average. Um, because it's zero cost, so you aren't going down in resources, and it gives you a lot of tempo for certain cards. So how many planets are there?
There are 8.
So let's just put this one in like number 4 for now, and we can change it later.
All right. And moving on to Scindian.
Scindian, whilst there are two or more Scindian creatures, love the use of whilst, crazy. Uh, whilst there are two or more Scindian creatures on your planet, your opponent cannot attack the one with lowest. That immediately feels bad. Um, I don't know
Just
why. It just like
mm,
it.
this is
You're
something you
not.
very much get got by.
Like I know Yu-Gi-Oh has a problem where it's very hard to stick creatures, to stick monsters around because there's no innate protection for them, and unlike Magic the Gathering, where it's most of the time it's pretty easy unless your opponent has targeted removal to
Yeah,
keep
like I
creatures around.
said,
I
Chaos
feel like
Galaxy, you're not really keeping creatures for more than 1 or 2 turns most of the time, unless they're like
yeah,
purposely hard to out.
I I feel like Scindian is really bad.
So 7 or 8 or something. I'll put in 7.
We'll put
Right.
it in A for now.
Okay.
We might encounter something worse.
Yeah, and by the way, you can change these whenever you want. So like
Yep.
at the end, feel free. Okay, Sindel.
Sindel. Each time a Sindel creature is killed by your opponent, whatever, you gain. Hmm. That that seems decent. No, but
So
no.
remember, 4 stars a turn,
Hmm.
you gain automatically.
Like, yeah, it's nice, but I don't think it's as substantial. As, like you're not a few extra resources like could be helpful in swinging tempo, but I don't. I feel like it's not as powerful of a tempo advantage as Barrow could bring. I'll put it like number 6.
Alright, so right now you've filled 4, 6,
Uh,
and 8. Next one is Gaios.
Gaios. Once per turn, you can kill off a Gaios creature. Then add. Oh, it's it's birthing pod, but you can't go up in value.
It's Birthing Pod, but same cost. Say you have the whole game at the start. Note that it can't fetch stuff
I
with the same name. That is relevant.
Well, this is definitely one of it immediately reads as one of the more powerful ones. Um, if Chaos Galaxy ever, I feel like this would Chaos Galaxy this would limit design space honestly. Um, because yeah, it limits because Gaia's creatures
It's
from
just
being
like,
able to like.
yeah, you just get, if there's, for example, like 2 good, I don't know, just throwing out a random number, like 3-star Gaios creatures, or even just like you have one really, really good 3-star Gaios creature, you can run more of them, and suddenly you just have more copies. Of course, it is relevant that you. Oh, also, I should very much mention this because this is extremely important to Gaios. There is not a post-combat main phase. Like Pokemon, you end your turn by attacking, so you cannot attack with a creature, then kill it off to Gaios. You have to kill it off
Hmm.
before attacking. Um, that is a very relevant thing here.
Yeah, okay, that definitely makes trading a lot worse. You're lowering your chances. I mean, you you aren't putting it into play immediately, so that's at least
Yeah, to
uh
reduce cost
like this
resources.
this this feels like it's gonna this feels like it's either gonna be extremely good or like very mid. Uh but at some point it has to be extremely good. So let's put it at number 2, let's say.
Sounds good. So you've got all the even numbers filled up right now. Um, okay, next one is Polysium.
Polysium. Uh, sack off 2 Polysiums. 6 are great. 6 or less.
And then free play just
Ah,
means play without stars. So you sack 2 small
so
guys
it
and get a big guy.
so in the extreme case, you play 2 1 costs and then get something like an 8 cost,
Yeah,
which
normally you see Polysium decks, they're usually the most common stars to play is 8 free play off it. Because 9 and 10-star creatures are very like we'll get into the 9 stars later, but there's a specific set of 9 stars and then 2 10 stars in the entire game, I believe. So it is like most of the time your expensive creature would be an 8-star that you're playing, and your little creatures are most of the time being 2 stars.
hmm. Yeah, it makes sense that there's very few like 9 or 10 stars because 3 turns, unless the card economy in this game is like really high, holding a card in your hand for 3 turns is not great.
The card econ I'll give the you will have. Um, I'd say the average hand size is like 8 or 9 cards in hand for most of the game. You'll have until the end game, you'll usually have like oftentimes over 10 cards even. So there is often like you will have a lot of options available to you. So I wouldn't say that like more expensive creatures are bad in the fact that if you draw them, you aren't able to immediately play them sometimes, but it's not it's less bad in the fact that you can have a dead card in your hand for a few turns.
Interesting. Elysium like seems good, but like it needs you to high roll. What's the starting hand in this game size?
5 cards.
Yeah, I don't think I could rate Elysium that highly unless like, there's like a ton of draw power or like searches. Um,
There.
I'm gonna go with 5.
So, your current rankings are 2 Gaios, 4 Barrow, 5 Polysium, 6 Sindel, 8 Syndian, if you weren't keeping track. Next up is Roka.
Roka, end of turn, if you have a Roka creature, permanently reveal one random card in hand.
Okay,
Handed,
this
handed
is a weird
card.
Chaos Galaxy thing where there are 3 different terms used: reveal, permanently reveal, and look. Look and reveal are not the same, but permanently and reveal are the same. I told you the
Uh,
templating's terrible, but yeah.
Amazing. Uh, I feel like hand knowledge in this game isn't important when compared to Yu-Gi-Oh. Like because there's a resource system because you said the pace of the game is slower. So I don't feel Roka is particularly powerful. Um, but it's not terrible either. I feel like it's definitely better than Syndian for sure. Uh, yeah, let's put it at 7.
Okay, so in between Sindel and Indian. Alright. Uh, 2 more left now. Shios is the next one.
Uh, Shios, after every third Shios on your planet is killed by an opponent, draw a card. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's the only one I've seen so far that is card advantage,
The
but
last one does not give card advantage, so this is the only one that gives card advantage.
mm, like from Hearthstone, the card. I mean, it's not as free as Hearthstone. Like it's not in your control. So if we compare it to Hearthstone Hero Powers, like it's obviously nowhere close to Soul Tap or Left Tap.
Yeah, fair. Like if you added
Uh,
the Warlock Hero Power to Chaos Galaxy on any of the planets, that
it,
would just be like ridiculous.
yeah, I'd imagine. Uh, I I I feel like it's bad, but like it's obviously better than card advantage is better than 3 stars. Maybe I don't know. Is card advantage is one card better than 3 stars?
Um, I'd say roughly one card would be equal to about like 3 to 4 stars.
Yeah. All right. That definitely makes sense. What do I have in number 5 again?
You have Polysium in number 5.
Yeah, I do think Eos is better than like I mean, is it going up in tempo? No, you have to go down in cards as well. And the pace of the game is slower, so like blitzing out certain creatures might not be as good as it is in other games. Uh, I think we have to move Barrow up. I think Barrow is significantly stronger
So you
than
put
Shios.
Barrow at 3 and Shios at 4, or are you putting it below Felicium?
Uh, yeah, Shios is at 4, and Barrow is moving up.
So you have everything but the number 1 spot filled, and this last one, you'll see it. You'll see it.
Teklar, once per turn, when you cost play, I assume that means from hand.
Yeah, when you play something and you pay its cost, that's cost play from hand.
At, okay. Uh, when you cost play a Teklar creature, look at either the top card or second from top card. There you
This is the newest
go.
planet. Chaos Galaxy originally only had 7, so this one was actually added in the fourth. There are 5 sets. This is added in set 4, I believe. I could be getting that statistic wrong.
Like this is feels contextual. I feel like you need a lot of deck manipulation for this to be effective.
I will say, there are definitely synergies. Like, here, let me just show you a card from Teklar. Let me see if I remember this guy's name right. Steam. Yeah, there he is. And then free play is basically special summon. Wait, no. How do I do this? Wait, give me a second. I'm gonna like copy paste the list of your ranking, and then I have to paste the card image. Sorry. This is a Teklar
I
creature.
okay. If you look at this card on top, huh? That is significantly stronger than what I was expecting.
This is an This is a very, I will tell you, yeah, this is a very good card. Usually the synergies
Yeah,
are
it's.
less good than this, but
I mean, having a like an on rate for like a having a Narcomoeba, it is very good in most games.
yep.
I feel like the my rankings are number 1 Barrow. Barrow seems to be the best.
Gaios or Barrow first, what you want.
Barrow Barrow first.
Alright, so
Like
first Barrow, and
on
second
second is
Gaios.
Teklar.
Okay.
Third is Gaios.
Fourth.
Fourth is Shios. Fifth is Pelisium. Sixth is Sindel. Seventh is Roka. And eighth is Ian.
So, let me actually see if I can find a tier list. You got a lot of these right and a few of them wrong. But like Teklar, I'll just give you. I think I could. This is my fault, but it is one of the worst planets. Here's the thing. Okay, I'll say that Gaios is the best planet. Right off the bat, it is definitely the best planet in my opinion. I could be getting
Makes
that wrong.
sense.
A lot of it depends on like the actual cards, but I do have some Gaios cards that I want to show you, I believe. I'd say okay, this is my personal ranking would be number 1 Gaios, number 2 Shios. I am partially biased because Shios was the best deck last format by a mile. It got like 4 or 5, yeah, like no, not 4 cards, but I believe it was 2 cards banned and 2 cards limited in the most recent ban list from that deck.
Mhm.
It was very powerful, so I'd say, yeah, first Gaios, second Shios, third would be third is harder. Third would probably be Pelisium or Barrow, and then fourth would be the other one of those. Fifth would probably be Sindel. Sixth, Roka. Seventh, um, A lot of it really depends on the cards. I'd say seventh is Teklar, and Syndion is by far the worst planet ability, but it does have good decks based around it, so I wouldn't put it in like last for actual gameplay, but for the planet ability, it's and you know it's the worst. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I kind of made you more biased towards Teklar, but again, Teklar is a newer planet, so it has a lot less support. So like this card is very good, but just like there is not many of the
Yeah.
cards that the planet needs to be supported. Like, look at, for example, Roka. It has, since it's been here like the whole game, it has a lot more support cards for like the opponent's revealed, for cards the opponent has revealed, which Teklar simply just does not have as much of.
Yeah, I did state that that type of effect was dependent on its synergies, but
Yeah,
I got
yeah. I
yeah.
showed you like one of the best cards, so that one's kind of my fault. I won't. Okay, let's start
Nah,
off
it's
with
fine.
our first card that I'm going to show you, and it is this guy, Hellfam.
7-star, Pelfam 7-star, free 30 power, 300 health, and they'll when this creature is played, cosplay, return one card from either player into its hand. That that can this seems really good. Like I don't know how often large guys come into play, but like just like sandbagging this card in your hand would be like really good to go up in tempo, and
Yep.
it you don't feel that bad for doing it on like a 4 cost either, since you just make them pay for it and then just kill another guy. Uh, Seems really good.
Okay, so I'll give you um four options here. This card is bad. This card is bad and isn't on the ban list. This card is good and isn't on the ban list. This card is limited and this card is banned. Which of those four do you think it is? And but it's Hearthstone. You can only run two copies of any card, and then if it's limited, one copy. Otherwise, if it's banned, obviously zero copies.
I I don't know how strong the removal in this game is, but and I'm not sure how like the stats are probably a bit small for the cost, but I feel like the effect makes up for that. Uh, I'm gonna go with decent card, not hit.
And you would be correct, actually. Hellfam is free to play at two copies. It is a very good card. In fact, it was limited before the last ban list and got unlimited as part of because this ban list that they made was supposed to be like a huge format shakeup because we aren't getting new cards for quite a few months, and so
Mm.
it was like a massive ban list. And Palfam was one of the few cards that went from being on the ban list to not being on the ban list. And yeah, it is a very strong card. It sees play in a lot of decks. Not every deck played it. When it was limited, it was like actually, if I find my statistic real quick, I made like a thing that looked at a bunch of Chaos Galaxy stuff and just um Halfam was the one, two, three, four. It was the fifth most popular card and had a 2/3 usage rate. Last format, not the current format. I
Yeah,
don't have statistics on. So yeah, it was a very good card.
makes
All
sense.
right. Let's go for. Do you want to see a card or I have two options for you here. Do you want to see a card or a collection of cards? An archetype.
Uh, let's go for an archetype.
Let me. Okay, which archetype should I go for? You know what? Let's go for that guy. Let's go for this one. I will show
It's
you.
always interesting how different card games
I have
lead
like three
intended play patterns.
archetypes I want to show you. But yeah, let's start off with this one. I'm sure you're gonna love this one.
How strict are the archetypes in Chaos Galaxy?
Usually archetypes are smaller and are more like packages than full decks. They're not like Yu-Gi-Oh! So like usually you'll have maybe like three or four
I
good
mean,
cards in an archetype.
packages do exist in Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Yeah, it's like, all right. This one, these are the blue flame cards. There are four of them in the whole game, and hmm, so for each of those, do you think it is same thing as before? Is it bad, limited, banned, or is it good but unlimited?
All right. I assume all of these creatures are going to be caring about the non-creature cards, so let's look at that one first. The
Yeah.
Undying Blue Flame. Once per turn, you can free play one of your killed Shios creatures, which has 10 health. That's if this card is still zoned at the end of turn, kill that. This this feels like like a recent comparison in Magic the Gathering terms would be probably like a Urbresk's Forge. Just
I think that's a pretty fair
cons.
comparison. Uh,
Yeah, so it feels like doing this. You said attacks end the turn, so obviously it's more of like a like both players lose a bunch of life type of thing. And let's see if the rest of those creatures synergize with that sort of game plan.
all right.
I imagine they will. Let's
Yeah.
go Jakra of the Blue Flame. Free 70 power.
Yeah, it's a very
Once per turn.
370 is a lot for 5 stars, but it's only 10 health,
Yeah,
so
it's more than it's more than Belfam.
yep.
Once per turn, you can return one of your other zoned Blue Flame cards to your galaxy to shuffle one other zoned card to its.
This is this is one of the cards that annoys me. The templating on this annoys me so much because it says return to galaxy for you, but shuffle for the opponent. These are the same effect. Oh, technically can shuffle your own cards, but like you're not doing that.
Uh, yeah, like it's power enough is alone to kill a lot of things. Um, I imagine that that second effect doesn't really get activated very much because it's removing resources for your other blue frame cards.
Do note, I'd recommend you read. This card is nicknamed as Tower because it's a tower. Um, reread the Undying Blue Flame / Tower. Specifically the second sentence.
End of your turn.
So if you use Chakra to shuffle one of their things, it doesn't actually die to Undying Blue Flame's ability. So if you shuffle back the Undying Blue Flame into your deck, you can shuffle one of their things, and Chakra will still live at the end of your turn, because the Undying Blue Flame
I
is not
imagine
zoned.
you don't. I imagine you don't really want to do that, but it's nice to know that the option's there.
Yep, fair.
Because like all these will do is just tank one hit, and like that could be game determinative, but I imagine most of the time it isn't.
Yeah,
Uh,
10 health is like pretty rough. Why don't you look at the next
but
one?
yeah, let's look at Laji of the Blue Flame Lamp. 230. After this creature attacks and still on your planet
So
after
if it attacks and
attack.
lives.
Yep. Uh, add
Tutor
one
and
galaxy.
Blue Flame.
Alright, yep. Yep. That card's a necessity. I imagine grabbing the tower. I don't know if Chaos Galaxy will be doing consistency hits like the OCG of Yu-Gi-Oh often does, but
I mean, the
we'll
TCG is
we'll figure it out when we look at.
what was it? Semi-limited 12 cars last ban list or something wild like that? Who knows?
Semi-limited, like almost all of the Malice cards and almost
Yeah,
all the Rizal cards.
I think it was just like no
Uh,
effective got hit, but yeah, that's off topic.
Scaril of the Blue Flame Scroll, 290 power, 4-star. After this zoned creature is killed or returned to your Galaxy artifact, you gain a point.
20 points to win, if you
Wow,
didn't remember.
like I hmm, I imagine
I'm
I
just
imagine
checking
you
this that far.
you don't spend your stars on creatures and instead just like try to get a lot of zones because you are going to be free casting them. No, but then
They do die at end of turn if you free play them with tower, notably. So you're already being like
yeah,
very vulnerable to damage if you're doing that. And remember, permanent resources are, again, like I said, they're for example, there's a card that I might show you later here, that negates all zoned cards as one of its effects. Um, even Jokra, like look at it, it shuffles back any zoned card. That could be an opponent's tower. Like it can be a permanent resource. So this is like these are the reasons that permanent resources are traditionally considered weaker because they just like die. They die to removal. So just yeah.
I can see almost all of these cards just being decent individually. Like Scarel, you just use it as a 1-for-1 removal spell, and then you go up in points.
Note that
Uh,
Tower can free play other 10 health Geos creatures, but they're like um there aren't that many.
I imagine
So
they're a lot
most of the
worse.
time. Yeah, I think the other ones are literally vanillas. One is a 1-star, 100 power, 10 health, and the other is a 3-star, 250 power, 10 health. So, literally, like all the blue flame creatures are better than the anything else, pretty much. So, um, yeah.
I
Let me actually go check, see if I
mm,
missed one of those. Feel free to continue.
Yakra act can just be a 5-star room like kill any creature basically, but I don't know if that's good enough. Like individually,
Okay,
I think Sakura is the strongest one.
the one that
Um,
I missed that is the other 10 health. Shield creature is a 1-star, 70 power, 10 health. When this Galaxy or handed creature is killed, kill one resource card on either planet. This card is bad. I didn't even know it existed. So, yeah. And then the other two are vanillas. So, functionally, it reads, most of the time, it reads free play of Blue Flame. So, do you want to just get on to rating them? What do you think of Tower? Do you think this is uh, bad, good, limited, or banned?
I don't think it's banned because it's very like zone hungry. Uh, like you're eating up your resource zone forever. You probably want to get another one.
Yeah.
It's eating a creature zone and a battle zone. Like so, it's not as free as it may seem because you have to pay like a lot of stars for zones. And I imagine.
Yeah, again, usually you'll
Uh,
end up wanting a 2-2-1 zone setup with only one resource zone, but permanent resources force you to get a second. So that is an extra 4 stars going down the drain to play that tower. But you do get a lot of star advantage off just getting a free creature every turn. So
and yeah, like that creature goes away, so you're always open for attacks. it
Yeah.
encourages a race. Uh, I it definitely seems good. Like being able to just kill one of your opponent's creatures every turn seems good. Uh, it might not be worth the extra damage you take in certain circumstances, but I feel like most often it does. It is worth it. So I'm gonna say good card, not banned for the tower.
At 2. All right.
Yeah.
Then what about Jokra?
Jakra, Jakra like increases the reach of what the tower can kill immensely. So I could see it being hit. Um, and I don't think a limit will do anything because Logi exists. So
Okay, so
it's either at 2 or banned. Uh, and hmm,
I mean, Logi could be banned, in which case, maybe they did limit it.
I feel like the tempo advantage of I feel like someone had to be like upset about the tempo advantage of just getting their like
Yes.
7 and 8 stars get killed by for free essentially. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Jakra got banned.
All right. What about Logi?
Logi, I don't know if consistency is their thing, so I'm just gonna say
I mean,
at
it is a
2.
small engine, so look at this. If you're saying Jokra's banned, that's like a total of 6 cards, and Chaos Galaxy is 34 card decks. So like
Well,
consistency
I'm
hits do matter because you're just seeing these cards that you want to see less if you're basing
well,
your
but
deck around it.
Jakra getting banned isn't really consistency hit. It lowers the ceiling of what the tower can do.
It does, but it also lowers the amount of like cards in your engine that you're seeing, which makes it harder to like just see these cards. Even if it is not necessarily a consistency hit, it's like it's such a small archetype, and this is that like every hit matters. So yeah, Chaos Galaxy. Let me actually take a look at the ban list. I want to see if there is that many consistency hits. I can help you here.
I think that the only thing that Jakra is banned and the rest are at
Limited,
2, and
so
anything for
limited
engine is decent.
cards, there are I'd say there are 3 consistency hits out of what is it? 13 limited cards. So about like
I,
there aren't too many consistency hits, but they do exist.
yeah, I feel like the answer is Jakra got banned to lower the ceiling, and the rest of them are fine and at 2 and are
Okay,
decent.
so you think all Logi, Tower, and Scarl are all good and at 2, and Jokra is banned.
Yeah, Logi and Blue Flame Tower are good. Scarl seems decent on its own, so yeah, I feel like they're decent cards. And Jakra probably got someone upset and got banned for it. So yeah.
I'm gonna be honest here. This, what you just said, is what people want, or what people want, or sorry, well, not exactly. What people want is Joker to be banned, and for yeah, well, we'll get into that later. People want Joker to be banned right now. Um,
Is it at
you
2?
are right on that, people, because so the thing you missed, Blue Flames is Fiendsmith. It is Fiendsmith for Chaos Galaxy. Um,
Right, any deck can play these,
any
right?
deck can
That
play
is
these.
correct.
Yep, they sure can. And what Joffre does is, who cares about tower sucking up a resource? You use this to remove, and since your stuff gets shuffled back, you just free play the Joffre back since there aren't that many ways to mess with killed cards. You just shuffle back your tower, then draw it again later, or tutor for it with Logi. And speaking of Logi, this is the I forgot this. This is Logi got errataed. This is the unerrated version of Logi. It got errata to be once per game, which is once per game per copy in Chaos Galaxy. It's weird in that like since you can't keep track of copies in hidden zones, if it gets like shuffled back or moved to a hidden zone, so it's like per copy, but if you lose track of the copies, you use it up to the number of times that card is legal. So the current state in the ban list is Joker's at 2 and is very good. People want it banned. Logi is at 1 and says once per game. Scarl is at 2 and sees no play whatsoever. And Tower is limited and is absolutely insane. It is one of the best. It is, yeah, one of the best, quote unquote, maybe the best non staple generic Chaos Galaxy card. A lot of the other better cards are just like staple cards that go in every single deck. Tower is like a bit more restricting that you don't put it in like literally every single deck. But full power blue flames, and there's another archetype that we might get into later, is one of like the most powerful decks of all time in Chaos Galaxy. So yeah.
I can't believe all this amounts just to Chakra Turbo.
Yeah, you literally just remove their stuff, get in, like, Joker, that's 4 points. That's a fifth of the stuff you need to win, and you shuffle back one of their creatures. So Joker basically just lets you get in for, like, a fuck ton of damage. And then if you combine that with, for example, a Paltham, that's 7 points. For, like, literally, yeah, that's 7 points. And remember, this is costing no stars. Because if you just play the tower, free play back Chakra, shuffle their thing, you know, it's insane.
And the downside of having to leave a zone open no longer exists because you don't have a tower.
Yeah. And your Chakra also stays around and can just tank a hit from whatever. Alright, let's go for a, do you want to see another archetype or an individual card?
Surprise me.
Alright. I don't feel like doing another archetype, so we're going for a individual card. These database. There it is.
I can't believe like that last thing just amounted to a single card that just says.
Also, yeah, this is what I was mentioned about Shios being the best deck last format. That was Blue Flames. That was the best deck. It was Blue Flames Shios mid range, where you'd play a bunch of other Shios cards.
Yeah, that was effectively just anime dead. Like Undying Blue, the tower is just effectively anime dead if you with
power is ridiculous
with attack. Yeah.
All right, this next one.
Conjuring Hat Cupboard. Once per turn, except for turn you play this card, you can add a zone to your planet. You can add the same type of zone more than once with this ability.
So this does take up a zone, so you effectively go neutral on resource zones, but you get a free creature at battle zone if this sticks around for enough turns.
Like, I don't like you couldn't just play all the instant like non-permanent resource cards and then play this last, right? It's just like very little cost to this, except for like the one in hand.
Yeah, since you're getting a free resource zone off this, it doesn't even matter about playing your other resource zone cards first, because as long as this doesn't get removed, you can just add back the resource zone that this takes up to effectively just have the same amount of zones.
Well, I say that because it has the you can't do this the turn you play it restriction on it.
So if it does get removed immediately by, for example, like Chakra, you know, you're effectively neutral on zones anyway, because it's just gone now. But if it gets this is very rare, but you can like there's literally one card I think that does this that sees play that negates abilities. So in that case, this would just be dead and take up one of your resource zones. But that is rare, so.
I feel like this like in the later game when you have like that 2-2-1 setup, like this can give you a lot of points. I mean,
Yeah,
So
if you're using this
like
to get your third zone and your opponent only has two, you do have an advantage of like, oh, I can attack with three, but they can only block with two. And that just helps you get in damage.
yep. Uh, that brings into question of where is the resource economy uh, able to handle playing three creatures at once? Which I imagine it probably would be. So this.
But do remember that again, if this like you're if this does get removed, you're still like going down a card, and the permanent resources are generally like pretty easy to remove. So
I mean, if they're removing this card, it means they're not removing other things. If with unless it's specifically a read destroy target resource card. Uh,
no, there's not
which
really many cards that say that kind of thing.
so I imagine you wouldn't be too miffed about losing this to removal. Like all of this upside leads me to the fact that it probably isn't particularly healthy.
So do you,
So yeah, I'm gonna have to say this card's banned.
I'm sorry, Kogane, but you are wrong. This card is bad and has seen no play ever, as far as I know. Um,
Hmm.
and okay, so I think the assessment in the late game, two zones. I did say this, three zones. It does happen sometimes. You are getting more advantage over your opponent by having the third zone. The issue in the late game with the third zone is you need to play three creatures into that zones. Like that is fucking expensive. Like it takes a
Yeah.
lot of stars to fill up three zones every turn to get in those damage. So this is a pretty good card in the early game where you're trying to, if you use this to get to like a 2/2/2 zone setup in the early game, that's good, but then it basically just becomes a dead card for the majority of the game because usually you're getting your 2/2/1 setup pretty early. At least that's my assessment of why this card's bad. I haven't really played it. There are like, yeah, I think that's the main reason that I don't play it. Is like there are zone gain cards that are better than this. Um, yeah, there are other zone gain cards in the game that I've seen play, but yeah. Moving on, do you want a
Hmm.
card or an archetype this time?
Hit me with another card.
Another card? Alright, let me take a look at my list. Hmm. You know what? Let's get spicy. Give me a second. Boom. And this is a new card type that you've not seen yet. It is called a combiner. So you need both halves of these in your hand. You play them out, and it's like one card. It takes up two zones for everything. So you need two battle zones to attack, two creature zones to play it. But if you read the effect, this does not matter. But you need both halves of. It's like BFM in Magic, the onset card,
Yeah.
and each of these would be at like two copies unless it's banned or limited. I will give you again a hint that combiners are similar to permanent resources in that like they're very bad into removal or effect negation or etc because you're going down an extra card, and oftentimes you have to find those specific pieces. So combiners are generally considered worse than most cards, and so have to have powerful effects to make up for that.
Hmm. Yeah. I imagine like not being able to play because you only like this is why meld is transform. So you have things to play while
Yeah.
you don't have the other piece.
Yes. Like Urza,
Uh,
the Might Stone, Weak Stone, those are fine cards on their own, but when you meld it, you meld it.
uh, so this is a no cost. Uh, are the power and health combined, or are they just like
No, it is 50/50.
okay?
But basically
And
this is functionally just a board wipe. because you don't care about a 50/50 creature.
Yeah, I imagine all zoned cards include this card, which is its
Yes.
zone.
So, yeah.
Uh, this isn't relevant for this particular card, but if you kill one half of a combine, oh no, no, because
They're treated as
there are
okay,
halves.
combiners are weird. They're treated as one creature that takes up two zones.
I see.
So when you play this out, it is treated as a 50/50 creature, but it takes up two zones. And also for this one, this is odd in that it has two different planets. Usually they're the same planet, but I assume it would be treated as both a Shios and Gaios creature.
Like the light and darkness draft.
Yeah, kind of.
Uh, and yeah, so if they take up two zones, they probably need two battle zones as well, right?
Yes, they need two battle zones to attack, but obviously with this one, you're not really attacking.
Yeah, I imagine this is bad. Like even though a zero cost did remove all cards from play, it's like would be very good. I imagine, but like I does I mean you can always fetch the first one if there are other zero cost Gaios cards in.
I show you.
I
Gaios cannot. Okay, so this is the combiners are weird. Wait, let me reread Gaios for a second. Yeah, Gaios specifically says so. Combiners are only treated as creatures when they are zoned. They are a separate card type. So when they're zones, they're treated as both a combiner. They're called combiner creatures, but they're treated as a creature or combiner. But when they're in your hand, deck, wherever, they are treated just as a separate card type called a combiner. Let me show you another card, see if that changes your mind on this. This card here. Telepathic touch.
it's a telepathic touch. It's a Rhoda for combined that has.
Yep.
I I don't think this changes my opinion that much. You have what's the deck size in Chaos Galaxy?
34. It's a weird number.
So you have mm, you have a 3 in 34 chance of drawing one of the pieces, and then uh, I don't know, it just feels extremely unlikely to me. Like, I mean, if you're lucky, you could probably have uh, have, I feel like you could probably have it go off once if you like build around it. But,
But then the later ones you have to draw them again or they're dead cards. That is an issue with combiners, yeah. Because like you said with melds, they are just dead. But also board wipes are like a pretty premium because you're getting to attack in for a lot of points, and this does cost no star, so is having those dead cards in your deck worth it to get that very powerful effect?
uh, I feel like there's like it's I feel like they're bad still, but like I I have like mathematically speaking, you are likely to have a hand that ha- will have access to it.
So, do you think they're bad, good, limited, or banned?
I'm gonna stick with my gut here. I'm gonna say that they're bad
Good
and
job,
have not been
because you
hit.
are correct. These are bad cards. I tried baiting you. Did not work. Yeah. Combiners, they have to be extremely, extremely good, and even a board wipe is not enough for this kind of combiner to see play. Like, they are very bad. Like, there is a lot of hurdles you need to overcome to play these combiners. So, yeah. Good job on that. Alright. Do you want a card or an archetype?
Let's hit me with another archetype.
Alright, wait. Let me think of an archetype to show you, because there are a few archetypes. Hmm. 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 This is less of an archetype, but more of a pair of cards. Actually, no. Let me not show you that. Yeah, no. Actually, let me show you something else. All right. This is gonna be a big one. There's a lot of these cards. Okay, I'm not gonna show you all of them. I'll show you the ones that have, because there are a few cards here that like are very bad. So, like, there's just a vanilla in here. So I'll give you 7 cards instead, even though the full archetype is bigger. So yeah, it is more than blue flames.
All right. Let's just go over all of the cards' texts. Relantis, permanent resource. When a nano ray creature on your planet is killed, attach it to Relantis. You can remove 4 attached cards from it. Detach 4, put a Zeta Ray creature from your hand. Play a Zeta Ray creature from your hand. So you have to have exactly Zeta Ray? Alright, let's look at Zeta Ray then. Zeta Ray, Sawdrius. 460 power, 300 health, 8-star. If this creature has been free played by the ability of Atlantis, it permanently gains 80 health, and you can kill 2 zone cards. Uh, I mean that is really good, but we need to. I is there a way to consistently get it, because Relentless doesn't get Zetteray. It's from hand, so you have to have it. Alright, let's just go through the rest of the archetypes, see if there has any way to get Zetteray into your hand. Nanoray Gymnoris, 3-star, 11060. When you cost play this creature, you can add Relentless or Nanoray creature. Nanoray creature, not Zetteray. So is there a, let's look at the rest of them. Nanoray, Ridwawa, 130-50 for 2 stars. When this zone creature is attached to Relantis, you can also attach one of your killed Nanoray creatures to Relantis. I mean, this is probably fine, but we'll look at the other ones. Nanoray's Scioteda, 440, 30 for 1. When this card is attached to Relantis, you gain a point. Oh, so there's freeze nano rays and freeze zeta rays.
There's an additional nano ray, but it's just a 1-star vanilla. There's only the 3 Zeta rays. I can show you the other 2 cards, the archetype, if you want. Actually, this card does matter. The last nano ray doesn't really matter too much, but this attachment card probably does matter a bit. So.
Nanoray Nano Stinger. If this card could be attached to Relantis. If Relantis would be killed, you can kill this instead.
Yeah, this does matter, definitely.
And one other card attached to Relantis to kill a creature. Wait, that is 2 separate effects. You can kill this card, and whenever card attached to Relantis, kill 1 creature on your opponent's planet.
Yeah. Probably should have shown you this for the rest, but like, I'd say these 7 are the core, and then there's this card. It's just more of a support. But yeah, what's your just general impression from the start?
Uh, well, the initially I was gonna say the free casting Zeta Ray is a massive swing and is is really good. Uh, uh, Strikaros does not seem great. It losing 4 stars doesn't seem as tempo swinging as killing 2 things. That's probably
Yeah,
like
I'd agree with
7 or
that.
more stars.
Like even like we
Uh,
said, star is equal to like three. Sorry, a card is equal to 3 to 4 stars. So like, Mantle Losses having larger stats and drawing you 2 cards is just like, yeah, is just better.
and yeah, I was initially thinking about how likely is it for you to have a Zeta in hand, uh, and so you might just play Stragaris for names, but I don't that doesn't
Also,
feel
like
right. It doesn't feel
worst case, you can like sacrifice your nano rays with to Polysium's planet ability, right? And free play a Zeta Ray, and that attaches them both to Relantis to then maybe let you free play another one. So Zeta Ray names definitely do matter because you can still bring them out through Polysium's planet ability, which is relevant. And like 400 is decently hard to get over health wise if you look at mental losses. Um, like same as Sawdry 380. Like Jokra is considered a very large creature, and that has 370, right?
I I don't know if the Strakaris is worth it, even though it's a name, because you probably could just play other big Polysium creatures to
Yep.
um
There's
Saladrius and Mantelofis are are really good, really big swings.
2 cards and then killing 2 things. That is like, yeah. You just, like Sawdrius, that's 5 points pretty much automatically, because usually you're ending on 2 creature boards, right? So you just play this, kill both of their things, and that's a 5 point swinger, a quarter of their life total, right? Or a quarter of the points you gain, rather. But
And
also,
Van-
permanent resources are vulnerable. But also, your planet ability acts as a backup, so.
Venenere Glimnoris is like even fine without Relantis because it's just you gain 4 stars per turn, you play Glimnoris, you grab Geoteta, and now you have 2 creatures for Polysium. So like all of these cards seem really good.
Do you want to just go through each of them then and rate them?
Yeah.
Start with, I guess, Volantis.
Relantis, it's low tempo initially, but once you have the 4 attached, it gives you massive swings when you cheat out the 2 Zeta rays that are worth it.
Yeah.
And it's like you probably have to pay some stars for an additional resource zone. Uh, and yes, it can be disrupted, but uh, Nanostinger has to be way to prevent that. But you really want Nanostinger out because because if you don't have the unsearchable Zeta rays, uh, which seems likely because you like the odds of you having a Zeta ray in your opening hand are not particularly high, and so Nanostinger gives you something else to do with to compensate you for losing tempo and getting you and for having you to pay another resource zone. Like the card the archetype is built around is the worst part of the card. Is the weakest link of that archetype, but that's not that's not new. Other archetypes have other archetypes in other card games have had that issue.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really an issue; it's more of a feature. But yeah, Glimnorous is
If your like
good
core card
individually.
is so strong, like that you're introducing a lot of variants. So even if it is bad, it can make
Yeah,
the
like,
deck feel
otherwise
much
you
less
have
fixed.
you have the tower issue where it's just summon a big guy from your graveyard and kill a thing and deal a lot of damage.
That's why the consistency hits on Tower and Logi matter so much. Since seeing Chakra, it just kills something and then dies. Sure, it has good stats, but then Tower is what's getting you that huge tempo swing. So that's why those two cards being limited matters so much for Blue Flames.
I feel like my approach would have been better because it keeps the risk reward element of Blue Flame of the tower
What people
without
want
being able.
for Blue Flames right now is ban Chakra and then unlimit Tower, but keep Logi limited because of how the once per game rules changed to be once per game per copy, so you don't
Yeah.
want to have like too many Logis. Because Tower is like the thing about Towers again, it's a very strong permanent resource, but since permanent resources are like balanced around being easy to like remove, it's fine. You know?
Yeah,
Like same with
I
Relantis
was
even.
not considering how one of the cards in the archetype just removes the downsides of the archetype.
Yeah, Nano
Anyway,
Stinger
back to
hugely helps, but there are obviously non-destructive forms of removal, like Chakra.
yep. I yeah. The tempo loss of Relantis probably is made up for the fact uh, by how swingy the other cards are.
Yeah,
Uh,
fair. So,
Glimnorous is good individually, and so like the fact that it supports its archetype is a bonus.
so do you think Relantis is good or bad or limited?
I do not think it's banned. If there's something that's making Relentless like bannable, it's the other cards that need to be hit. Uh,
So,
but so the question is whether or not it is good. The high rolls of this archetype are very high, but I suspect the low rolls of this archetype could be very low as well. Mm, if Nano Stinger didn't exist, I would have said Relentless would be bad. But because Nano Stinger exists, I think Relentless is decent. I think it's pretty good.
okay, so you're saying it's good? Alright, moving
Yeah.
on to Gibnoris then. I think
I think
you
I've made
think
my
this
opinion
card's
on this
good. So,
already
do you
made.
think it's
Yeah, I
limited
think
or
this card's
banned?
good. I don't think it would be.
So, yeah, just
I
good
think this card.
and at 2. Alright,
Yep.
Ridwava.
Red Lava. Like this card is obviously much weaker uh, than like than obviously Glamoris, but I think like it is you have to play for names. I'm gonna say this card is bad, but run anyway, and at 2.
Okay, yep. Skitoda.
Similar sentiment. It's an engine requirement for the Glamour's combo or synergy. So bad card, but you have to play it for engine requirement purposes and add 2.
Alright. Mansalossus.
Let us evaluate this card without it triggering. Is it good enough? A 400 essentially is
It's
not to
big.
be overlooked.
It's big.
It's it is
400
big.
is like I'd say like 300 is more of the obstacle, but like if you are above 400, it is quite hard to get removed. Like 300, I'd say, is kind of like a high power thing. So then, like 400 is very, very big. The highest health in the game is 500, and so is the
Like,
highest power actually.
like you, I don't think these are bad cards to be on their own. So I think these cards are good. Both
Valkyrie's Mantelossus and Sodrius.
Mental Losses and Sadrius. I don't feel great about Strakaris. I feel like Strakaris is
So
not
you think,
good enough.
sum it up, you think all of these are at 2, I assume, or am I getting close?
All of these are at 2.
Gimnoris is good, Relentis is good, and then Mantelossus and Sodrius are good.
Yes.
Oh, and Nano Stinger, actually. What do you think of Nano Stinger?
Nanostinger fills a hole in the archetype that uh, is crucial in my opinion. Like uh, if you're stuck at 1, you could just use it as removal. Also, if you're stuck at 3, you could attach it and do the thing well, and it's low cost, like no. So I feel
Yeah.
like it is
You can pick up
extremely
a
important card
zone.
for the archetype, and therefore it's extremely important. It's really good for the archetype, and it is at 2. Or maybe it is limited. I don't know, but let's stick with 2.
Okay, first thing, you are correct on your ban list take. Every single one of these cards is at 2. So let's get through that. However, you did get wrong about Nanostingers, Sodrius, Gimnoris, and Rolantis being good. This archetype sucks, but Mantelossus is good. Now, Mantelossus is good because it turns out they're actually. So, you know how I was talking about with Polysium, that you're wanting to play out 8-star creatures? There are not actually very many 8-star creatures, and it just so happens that Mantelossus is very well statted. So it is literally effectively a vanilla that you play because it is a good 8-star, and you want densities for 8 stars for a card that cares specifically about creatures of the same star. So you want a density of 8 stars. I might show you that card. So actually, I probably won't now. So I guess I can just show it to you. This card was newly unlimited. It was limited on the last ban list. The other one that got unlimited with Palfam. This card here. Warpole Jetpack. You don't need to evaluate this. It is a good card. You attach this to one of your 8-star Polysium guys, and then you free play back another one, and you just really want more of them than there is. So Mantelossus, you are correct on that being good, because you just need more of a density. But yeah, nano rays are like a pretty famous archetype for being bad. Um, yeah. Again,
I could,
permanent
yeah.
resources is
That's
they
why I was
have to do a lot.
evaluating Glamorous and Mental Losses in the context of you're not really doing the thing.
Yeah, and Slim Norris, I'd say, could be pretty solid. I haven't ever played with this, but I feel like someone, like, you could maybe try something with this, but then, like, the rest of the cards, you are just never playing them, pretty much.
Yeah, like yeah, Rid Rava seems bad, but I had hope. I hoped for I coped for Volantis.
Alright, let me show you. I know this is kind of like half card, half archetype. It is a pair of cards. These are cards that actually care about what your planet is.
Uh, Guardian of the Moons, and I assume the other one would be Guardian of the Suns.
Yep.
Guardian of the Sun, yeah. Uh, Roka, 6-star, 40, 440. You can only have one Zone's Guardian. If creature, this zone creature cannot be killed by resources. If Rogue is your planet, when your opponent's turn ends, you can shuffle this zoned creature into their galaxy and separately play one Galaxy Guardian.
And you're free playing the
I
Suns. One.
Guardians of the Sun, 440 Roka, 40 6-star. You can only have one Guardian. Can't be killed by activators.
Activators are the instant speed card type, remember?
Yep. If Rook is your planet, when your turn ends, you can shuffle this into your galaxy to play one. I imagine you're never. You're. I imagine you don't shuffle. You don't mode change moons, but you always mode change sun.
So how this works usually is, yeah, if you play out the moons, you just hold it. You wait for your opponent's turn to end, and then you shuffle it back for a sun. If you play the sun, you change it out on the same turn. So ideally you want a suns, because then you can attack it and then change it, but like sometimes you just draw the moons and you have to play it, you know? And also
Yep.
relevant, oftentimes the moons, like, um, your moons are the ones you don't want to draw, but you also need two of them, because they're the ones that are getting killed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 6 stars to go like Sun obviously seems really good. Like 6 stars, 440, and then it's effectively a 440 440. So I feel like what you do is you run 2 sun and 1 moon because moon's an engine requirement for sun. Yeah, both like, these seem decent. These seem good.
But notably, you do have to run Roka as your planet, and yeah, Roka, as we established, is not the best of the planets.
Yeah, like yeah, there's certainly better things to be doing, but like if you are playing a rogue deck, then these are probably auto includes.
Yep. So, do you think these are limited or banned, or just good? Or bad, I
I
guess.
yeah, like because of the restriction on it, I feel like there is no point in hitting them.
Yeah, fair.
There auto includes in any broken deck, but otherwise probably not.
So, do you think they're good and at two?
Yeah.
That is, in fact, correct. You're right that they're an auto-including Roka decks. Oftentimes, if you are playing like a rainbow deck that doesn't care about your planet too much, sometimes you'll go for Roka for this. Though usually you'll end up just going for Gaios for um because it's the best. But yeah.
Yep.
If you want to, we can wrap it up here. So, cause yeah, it has gone for an hour and a half. So yeah.
It was nice having me on here.
Yeah.
I imagine you'd want some other voices then because I've had a wide experience of card games, so someone more specialized in a single card game might have a different perspective.
Yeah, it was very cool having you on. You know, maybe I'll do another one of these because I did get another response from someone. So, yeah, huge thanks for coming on, spending an hour and a half of your time on this, and I guess
No
bye.
problem. Yep, see you later.